Hi and welcome back to the Cheshire TV show with Ian and Alex Story.
On this week's show, we've got a fantastic interview with an author who lives in Cuddington. She has had a fantastic life, hasn't she? Really interesting.
Yeah.
And we've got the usual property bits and pieces, fresh to market, buy-to-let deals for Cheshire landlords, my favourite property which is just sold, and our regular lifestyle feature. We hope you enjoy the show.
So Ian and I went to meet Ruth Elliot Smith, local author in Cuddington, at her beautiful house. Let's go and have a look.
Hi guys, we're here in this beautiful location today to meet Ruth Elliot Smith, author, and we're sat in her lovely garden in Cuddington. Ruth, it's lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alex, you're an avid reader.
I am, yes. We were just talking about your favourite books, actually. Do you want to tell us a bit more about, did you say that this one's coming out this week?
It is. This one's actually due for publication tomorrow.
Okay.
So it's already on Kindle, Amazon, and it's going to be a paperback released probably this Friday.
Okay.
The Sword was my first book, this one. This is a thriller which was written about the Middle East. It involves a kidnap and warfare and passion and a little bit of sex and a little bit of violence, and it's got a bit of everything really.
Yeah.
But it's based on loosely on my job as a journalist in Jerusalem in the 1960s, just after the Six-Day War. So a lot of the locations I'm familiar with, a lot of the scenarios I'm quite familiar with, because I did get caught in cross-border shell fire.
Wow.
I was mortar bombed in a town on the Lebanese border, and I also wandered into a minefield and had to very gingerly retrace my steps. So quite a few of the things that happen in the book happened to me.
Yeah.
Not the steamy scenes, I hasten to add, but quite a few of the frightening things.
Yeah, a bit different to your life here in Cuddington now, though.
Oh yes, yes. Although I don't know, it can get quite difficult sometimes, with the golf club particularly.
So how long have you done it for then, writing?
Well, I've written all my life, my working life. I started off as a journalist on a local newspaper in the town where I was born, which was Walsall, West Midlands.
Yeah.
And I had a job as a trainee journalist on my local paper, the Walsall Observer. And from there I graduated to the Express and Star evening paper. Then I worked in Fleet Street on the Sunday Express. And then I went into television. Okay. And television is a great medium, but it's very hungry for your time. You know, you work from very long hours. So then I made the mistake of having a baby, and I could no longer do television work, and I had to start my own business from home. Okay. And I became, first of all, a freelance journalist for the BBC, and then I went into public relations. So an awful lot of my life has been spent writing for other people.
Yes, okay.
And I thought in retirement it would be very nice for me to start writing stories based on my experiences, both as a journalist and my travels throughout various international locations. And that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you write from home then?
I do. My conservatory at the back here looks out over this lovely garden,
Yeah,
so a lot of the
beautiful.
time I'll spend sitting in there and looking out of the window far too often and not writing enough. But I do have a little broom cupboard at the front, which I grandly call an office, and so I work from there a lot of the time too.
And how long, on average, does it take you from coming up with the ideas then to getting it published?
Well, each book is about 100,000 words. The two that I've written so far have been action adventures, I suppose, more than thrillers, although there is sort of murder and mystery in them. And the right sort of length seems to be about 100,000 words. Okay. And it takes me roughly a year to research and write a book of that length. And that's quite a comfortable time span, I don't think I could hold my own interest in the book for longer than a year, let alone the reader's interest for however many days or weeks it takes them to read. But I like to write fast-moving, pacey stuff because that's my journalistic background. I was a news reporter, and news is fast-moving. You know, it's about stories that are happening in front of you. They're happening now. You have to be quick. You have to write it down quickly. You have to shoot from the hip, as it were, and this is the sort of writing that goes into adventure thrillers.
Fantastic.
And you feature quite a few local events then, you go and read. I saw one recently, was it in Altrincham? And...
Yes, I've been to the Altrincham Storytelling Club, which was a great experience actually. I never knew such places existed, but if you get a chance, go to a local storytelling club. It's not really about books, it's about people standing up and telling stories, you know, and they don't refer to any pieces of paper or books. They're just remembered stories, either about their own life or there'll be folk tales or something. And they perform, and these are just ordinary people who've got ordinary jobs, and they just like to go out and sort of perform a story in front of their friends or a group of people in the evenings. But I also like to go to book clubs because they are a captive audience, really. They're people who like to read, and they're very interested in meeting authors anyway, and I suppose if you're local, they can get their hands on you, and you can get your hands on them, and you can really get stuck into what they like, and get them interested in the type of books that you're writing. And there are a couple of book clubs at the moment who are reading The Sword for me, and I've got to go back to them to see what they think of it. And so the jury's out on it at the moment. The reports so far seem good. I mean, the reviews I've got so far on Amazon, I've got 16 5-star reviews, 1 3-star review, and 2 1-star reviews from people who absolutely hated it. We don't talk about that.
No. Very good. So this is your second book then?
Yes, this one, El Dorado and the Amazon, is based on a journey I made to Colombia in the 1980s when the cocaine mafia was at the height of their powers, and they were controlling the whole armies of guerrillas and really running the country, and running riot all over America with just flooding the market with illicit drugs. It was a very dangerous country back then. I can't speak for it now, but then it was, everybody carried guns, you know, even the taxi drivers carried guns. When you went anywhere by taxi, you'd see the taxi driver take the gun out of his pocket, put it under his leg there in case anybody tried to kidnap you, because it's not good publicity to get tourists kidnapped and ransomed. So, and I was with a team of guys who'd registered a claim for a gold mine in a jungle area in Colombia. So I had to go with them. They wanted some publicity because they needed to raise money on the international stock market. So I needed to get publicity for them to say they'd found gold so they could raise money. But when they got to this claim they'd registered, it had been jumped by other people, other business people who were busy tearing down the forest and getting the gold out from underneath. And it turned out they had links to the mafia as well. So they had to tread very carefully at that point, because you don't want to go around upsetting the Colombian mafia.
No.
At that point I left them and I went to see the Amazon, which is down in the south of Colombia, because it's always been an ambition of mine to go and see the Amazon. And I had a fabulous time there. It was before the days of sort of tourism in those sorts of areas. I suppose now you could go on
package holiday.
Yeah, package holiday there. But then I had to take a guide, you know, a porter, and go through the jungle like she who must be obeyed, and
amazing.
Let's go here and let's go there. And I actually I swam with the piranhas. They're not as dangerous as you think. I'm here to tell the tale. We were stalked by a giant anaconda. That was quite frightening. And what else happened to me in the Amazon? We went on a hunt for caiman, which are these big Amazonian crocodiles, and we went hunting at night for them, not to kill them, just to see them. We did see a couple, but fortunately again survived. So I've had a few different types of adventures, and that's the background to that. This one is a lot steamier than that one, I must say. You know, if you're easily shocked, don't read El Dorado and the Amazon, but if you're not easily shocked, you'll love it.
Your book.
Well, I hope you love it anyway. And again, I must say the steamy things didn't happen to me, unfortunately. But quite a few of the dangerous things did.
But it's good to sell a book, I suppose.
Yes, it is, yes. Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what Colin says about it. Colin's my partner. He reads my books first. He loved The Sword, but he says this one is a bit too. A bit too steamy for him, you know, so I thought, well, it must do well then.
Yes.
It'll do well.
So it'll be interesting to see
Yeah,
what
you'll
the
know
book...
in the next few weeks, won't you?
Yes, I will, yes.
I'm going to say it'll be interesting to see what the book club think of it when it's
Yeah.
when it's
Well, they're
released.
not reading this one, they're reading The Sword.
Sword.
Yes.
So we'll see if we can persuade them to read El Dorado
Yeah,
afterwards.
So moving now to your beautiful house here, how long have you been here, Ruth?
Well, I actually built the house. I was between being a public relations consultant. Once my children left home and could support themselves, I thought I'd go out on some on a more adventurous career. And I had renovated a couple of houses, so I thought, well, I'll try building one. So this is the first one I built. After this one, I decided, well, I'll build a few more because it was a lot less work than journalism for a lot more money, and I'm all in favour of that. So I started building houses, and I did that for quite a number of years, and then I retired from that and I took up as an author. So I built this one I bought the land in 1990 and I finished it in 1991. I built it to sell. And I loved it so much I kept it and I lived here myself.
Yeah.
And here we are today.
Yes,
it's
here I am.
absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
It's very tranquil,
And
isn't
the
it?
area is beautiful, isn't
Yeah.
it? Cuddington, Norley.
Yes.
This part of Cheshire
Yes.
is delightful.
It's
isn't
beautiful. It's very rural, but it's not remote.
No, it's not.
So within easy striking distance of, the urban environment and
Yes.
shops and pubs, theatres,
Yeah,
all that
indeed.
sort of thing.
And the Hollies isn't too far away either, is it?
Oh, no. We like the Hollies.
Yes, we
The
do.
£50 shop, my stepdad.
That's right, yeah, that's right. Fab.
Okay, well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today, Ruth. Now back to the studio.
Thank you.
What a fascinating life Ruth has had. That was such an enjoyable interview, wasn't it?
Amazing.
I'm hoping one of her books would be made into a film as well.
Yeah, I know, she was fascinating. All the war zones that she's
I
worked
know,
in and
yeah.
stuff.
Swimming with piranhas and
Yeah.
chased by an anaconda.
Yeah, she was a really interesting lady.
Yeah, she was.
And what we've agreed with Ruth is that we're going to start to do a regular feature on the show called Ruth Reads, where she introduces new books that aren't hers, that she recommends that you read yourselves. So keep an eye out in future shows. And now it's time for my buy-to-let deal of the week. Cheshire landlords, I'm out and about again looking for good buy-to-let deals for your portfolio. Today I'm on Richard Street in Rudd Heath. Now this good-looking property behind me here is a 2-bedroom mid-terraced house. It's in really good condition all the way through, meaning you would rent it out easily with no work whatsoever. Now it's on the market for offers in excess of 120,000. So by the time you've paid your stamp duty and a couple more thousand over the asking price, it's going to set you at about 125,000. It'll easily get a rent of 595 because it's in such good condition throughout, which will give you a yield of nearly 6%, which is a good healthy yield. Now it's on the market with Reeds Rains, and I will put the Rightmove link in the comments below. I suggest you take a look. This could be the next property for your portfolio.
Thanks for that, Ian. That was a really good buy-to-let property. And now it's time for our lifestyle feature.
Hi, I'm Paul Connor, and it's time to get fit with MPA Fitness.
Hello everybody, I'm back here with Paul from MPA Fitness, and today I'd like to talk to Paul about how you can get started exercising by yourself at home without buying any equipment at all. Paul, do you want to talk me through how you think you can do
Sure.
that?
One of the best pieces of advice I can give to people is to sprint. If you can run, if you can move, if you can walk, try and get high intensity sprinting involved. You get yourself outside, find a hill or a piece of land which might take you 20 to 30 seconds to run, and run it as fast as you possibly can. Walk back and recover, run it as fast as you possibly can, possibly up to about 10 times. Sprinting is so fantastic to build muscle, to build power, and give such an elevated rate that at the end of the exercise you are churning out calories for a long time afterwards.
That's great.
Sprinting is A1.
And I suppose it doesn't matter what your level of fitness is, you just go as fast as you can.
Yeah.
You're not racing, you're not...
If you're going for complete couch, you might want to do a steady couple of jogs for the first couple of weeks, and then the more confident you get, then go and blow it.
Okay, great. Right, fantastic tip for you there, everyone, on how to get started at home without any equipment at all. Hi, welcome back. We hope you got good value from that lifestyle feature. Now it's time for one of my favourite features of the show, which is Just Sold. Hello, and welcome to Just Sold. This property is situated on Sutton Field in Whitegate. This is a fantastic location. The property sold for £730,000 last year. Let's take a look. Now, this is a stunning detached property surrounded by landscape gardens, and it was sold by Wright Marshall. I actually know this particular location, and it's superb, right in the centre of Whitegate, which, as you all know, is really well sought after. My favourite room has to be that lounge with the bifold doors opening into the rear garden. And the rear garden itself is absolutely stunning. Lawned, completely private. And I think my favourite feature of the entire house is the oak framed porch on the front. I hope you agree with me that was a stunning recently sold property. Now it's time for my market update. Hello, and welcome to my CW8 market update for March 2019. I'll be producing one of these every month to keep you up to date with exactly what's going on in your local housing market. Please like and share so other CW8 residents can also be kept up to date. Now, a great way to take a quick snapshot of the market to see how buoyant things are is to compare the percentage of properties that are under offer compared to the total amount of houses on the market. Currently, 42% of the total properties on the market in CW8 are under offer. Now, this represents a really healthy market. Most estate agents, believe me, would kill for that sort of percentage under offer of their own stock. Going into more detail, I'd like to look back to March 2018 when there were 328 properties on the market in CW8. This is compared to 327 on the market in March of 2019. The market in March 2019 in terms of stock is incredibly similar to 2018 at the same time when there were 111 new listings last year, 109 this year, 81 sales agreed last year, 73 this year, 37 price reductions last year and 33 this year. This, of course, doesn't tell the full story, and it's important to look at more detail at the housing market, and what's more relevant and important to you as the homeowner is current and latest asking price data, selling price data, and how long properties are taking to sell. I'm also going to break this down into the type of property to make it more relevant to you, the homeowner. So, the average asking price in CW8 is currently $325,000. Broken down into the two most popular house types in the area, the average detached is £483,000 and the average semi is £237,000. It's very important to compare this to selling prices. So I've looked at January 18 to 19 and the average selling price for detached houses last year was $340,000 nearly and $320,000 this year. Semis were $172,000 and $171,000 this year. It's also important to look at how long properties are taking to sell. For the last 12 months, March 18 to March 19, overall, properties are taking longer to sell. Broken down into types, detached houses are taking 23% longer to sell and semis 42% longer to sell than in March last year. In a healthy market such as this, the main reason why properties are taking longer to sell is overvaluing. So what I've done is I've looked at the most reduced properties in CW8, and on the 28th of March this year, there were 40 properties on the market which have been reduced since they were first put onto the market. The average reduction is 9.44%, which on the average CW8 house price means average reductions of around £30,000 before properties sell. In CW8 and such a healthy, buoyant market, property stock totals being incredibly similar to 2018, average prices are slightly down on the previous year, which will have been heavily affected by the amount of new build properties currently in CW8. When marketing your property, be very aware of the estate agents who overvalue simply to get you on the market. As you've heard from the price reduction data in my report, many people are having to reduce their asking prices in CW8. If you have any more questions to do with anything Cheshire property related, please don't hesitate to send me a message. And for further information, please visit thecheshirepropertyblog.com. Welcome back. I hope you got really good value from my market update there. We'll be doing one of those for each of the different postcodes that we cover every week. Now it's time for Fresh to Market. Cheshire house hunters. I've noticed this fantastic property behind me here that's recently come onto the market in Pickmere. Now I'm on Jacob's Way here, and it's a very short walk to Pickmere Lake, which is a stunning beauty spot, yet we are still not far at all from both Knutsford, Northwich and the M6. The property, as you can see, is a large detached house. It's got 5 bedrooms and a double garage, really lovely proportioned rooms throughout, and for a newer property it has a reasonable sized garden as well. It's recently come to the market with Bridgefords for 750,000, and what I'll do is put the Rightmove link in the comments below so you can take a look yourself. This is a really stunning family home in a beautiful location.
I hope you all like the look of that property. And that's the end of the show. So thank you all for watching. If any local businesses do want to be featured, then please do drop us a line or comment underneath and we can get in touch with you. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.